Okay, guys, so I've been off of the camper for like 3 months. Christmas rolled in, went on a vacation between the holidays with my wife, and then it was pool show, World of Concrete, a bunch of work-related trips. We're in the throes of pool season. But you guys, most of you came to my channel because of ICF and pools. You know, the spring is absolutely crazier than Christmas when it comes to pool parts, pool kits, all that. But it's also camping season's around the corner. I want to get finished. So I want to say we did the cabinetry and actually put the rest of the cabinets together, back in November, and now we're here in March. So it's been a minute. I'm ready to get rolling again. It's actually not that far from being finished. I will, maybe at the end of this video, or the first of the next video, I'll show you all the electrical. I bought everything I need, from the brake lights to all the marker lights, the inside lights. I've got everything but the front box with the battery, but I've got all my wire to do all my wiring and run everything through the roof. So which brings me to what I'm doing in this video. So, as you guys know from past videos, I've only got maybe 30 hours invested in this thing so far, 40 if you count some of the help I've brought in. But the next phase before I can do any wiring would be to put the inside ceiling on this thing, which I've gone walnut, which complicates things just a little. That I need to do lacquer that looks really good. When you do birch, you can get away with a little more natural finishes. I'm using a conversion varnish that has to be catalyzed. It's a really good varnish. We used to use a lot of high build, like nitrocellulose lacquers and whatnot. Water contact and scratching, they were both inferior to conversion varnish, but conversion varnish has like a 4-day pot life, at least the one I'm using. It's made by Gemini, and it's got 4 days from when I mix the gallon to be done with it, or it goes bad. So what I'm gonna do today, I've been at war with myself all morning because I've got some other things to do today, but I wanted to possibly just spray the insides of this cabinet and over here, and then spray everything else once I put the walnut skin on and the spars. I'm gonna rip these 2x4s up into spars in a minute, and they'll go, at layout intervals. But I think what I'm gonna do is bite the bullet. I'm gonna go ahead and cut my spars, cut them for width and length. Then I'm actually gonna cut my 3 sheets of 1/4-inch plywood, that's gonna skin this. I'm gonna tape off the edges so that they still have a good glue bond. And I'm gonna spray them and the entire inside, which means I gotta get in here and do a little sanding. I gotta pull my doors out. I gotta pull all the stuff I've been keeping out of harm's way by laying it in there. I gotta pull all of it out. It's gonna be a little bit of extra work, but it's gonna be done. I gotta do 2 coats. So I'll do one. I'll wait 30, 40 minutes. That's about all that it takes for that stuff to get dry enough to sand and recoat. So I'll recoat about an hour after I start. And then tomorrow, if everything goes good with my plans this evening, I can come over here and hopefully get the skin on the inside, or the inside roof and ceiling. And then I'll show you guys the layout of all the wiring and stuff that I'm going to be installing. I'm going to do the insulation a little different than what the plans call for. I'm going to use a pourable marine grade 2-pound foam instead of sheet foam. I think it's going to make it more rigid, definitely make it more airtight and efficient. So that's what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to sand this out, blow it out, clean it really good. Then I'm going to catalyze my gallon of lacquer over there and get ready to rock and roll, put my mask on, and go nuts. It's going to be stinky, so that's kind of a good thing just to get rid of it in one day. Let it air out overnight, and by tomorrow it won't be so bad in here. So stay tuned. Okay, so first thing I got to do is get all the junk out of there that I've, the doors and all the stuff I've been trying to keep safe. Then I get out my random orbital and sand the face frames of the cabinet and the plywood sides, the walnut. And then it's very imperative that I get all the dust off because obviously I'm going to be shooting lacquer directly. And now I'm ripping the spars, which I'm using 2x stock, which is what it's called for. And I tried to select really good material, not a lot of bark, number 2 studs and stuff, because this is going to be responsible for bowing the inside piece of plywood, and also it's going to be what I'm screwing the outside plywood skin to. So you don't want a lot of junky 2x when doing this. And it's very easy to just, when you go to your local Menards or Home Depot, whatever, just to be selective. It's only a few pieces, so you just got to find good ones. And yeah, once I get that done, I'll move over to the miter saw, and I've got a stop set up to cut them for length, and get everything cut for length. Just get all that done. Clean up all the dust one more time before catalyzing the lacquer and getting busy with that part of the operation. Because once you start shooting lacquer, that's pretty much all you want to do till you're done. So now I'm over at the miter saw. I just always put a factory cut on every end, and then slide it down to the stop and finish it off. That way both ends get a factory, or not a factory cut, but a clean cut, because a lot of the mills, pretty rough, pretty out of square cut on the end. So you always want your own cut on both ends. And lastly, I'm going to cross cut these 1/4 inch walnut plies. This will make the inside skin of my roof. This will be the part you see. So I had to be pretty selective, the walnut ply has both sides are very pretty. One side will have a slightly more pronounced mechanical repeat to the veneer, as you can see. So I wanted it all to match, so that's the only thing you have to be really careful about. All right, guys, I won't get into a deep degree of detail with this process, because everyone is going to do this differently. We do a lot of high-end cabinetry in a lot of fancy houses, and we love conversion varnish. So that is the process we're using a Gemini gym coat. I don't know if you can see it, because it's been in the spray booth getting overspray on it, even though it's a brand new 5. But I've got 4 ounces of catalyst to 1 gallon of conversion. So now I have 4 days to use this gallon. So it's not terribly expensive, about 60 bucks a gallon by the time you catalyze it. And then I'm going to stir this pretty well for about 30 seconds. Once I go to prime it, it's going to kind of spin it in the gallon anyway when I start priming it. So that'll help to stir it some more. But what I'm going to do, the process I'm going to do today is, you saw me just now do those sheets. That's going to be the ceiling of the camper. And I've got the edges taped off just so the lacquer doesn't soak into the edges. And I'll have some, green or dry plywood that the glue can bond to the edge of the camper. So I'm going to spray those first. I'm going to put a mask on. This stuff gets pretty rough. And I've got an air-fed respirator you'll see me wearing. It's kind of a funky little thing. It's got a carbon filter. It has a little air wand, so I can blow dust off of anything I think's dusty right before I spray. Handy, but kind of cumbersome once you get in it. So I'm going to spray that in the booth here. Then I'm going to step out over here to the camper and get up inside the camper and shoot it real quick. And then I'm going to go ahead and run my errands. Normally I could respray it in like 30 minutes. But I think what I'm going to try to do is go get all my other rats killed for the day. And then come back this evening and just lightly sand it real quick. Hit it the second time. That way, whether it's tomorrow or the next day, whenever I'm free to get back over here, I'll be ready to put the ceiling in. And it'll actually look done. I'm not saying it won't need a third coat once everything is in and kind of wrapped up. It very well might, but it's definitely going to look finished, ready for all the wiring and the lighting and all that jazz. So I'm in virgin lacquer thinner here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop the prime tube off. I'm going to bring this over here and get it down in there. Let's move it close enough to where it'll sit near the bottom. So I'm going to turn it to prime and let the lacquer thinner that's in the machine come out. As soon as it goes to lacquer, I'm going to move it back over here, and effectively it's spinning. If I can snap it in. Get a little splash on me. Thankfully it's not in my eye. All right, so now I've got 50 feet of hose that is also full of lacquer thinner. So now I'm going to run that through. As soon as I do that, we are primed and ready to spray lacquer. I'll take you into the booth just on time lapse and show you spraying those 3 sheets. Then I'm going to come in here and spray this. I'm going to do it real fast speed. The whole process is probably 15 minutes anyway. Then, like I said, lightly sand, recoat, and I'm done with that. And then I'll show you the last thing on this video. I'll show you putting the lid on. So pretty cool. Okay, so now we are In the spray booth, I have a dust collector over in the corner that I use to pull a lot of the fumes out. But I still wear that air-fed respirator, which is the orange air hose you can see hanging from me. Very, very handy because, I mean, I can spray all day and never feel any effects from the lacquer, but it is really rough if you don't, which is kind of why I ended up being done for the day. The booth will keep all the fumes in, but once I spray out in the shop, which I try to avoid, but in this case I couldn't, the shop was fairly uninhabitable for the rest of the day. Not the end of the world, just kind of moved on after this and came back later. Okay guys, so I didn't actually get back over here last night to spray the second coat. Got busy on some other stuff, but you really see this is just one coat, so it doesn't have any build to it yet. This really just sealed the grain in, but you can really see where the magic starts to happen with walnut. Just really brings out the beauty as soon as he gets hit with clear coat. I've got less than half a gallon left, so it's very possible I'm going to have to catalyze a second gallon, which I kind of knew going in. Luckily, I've got some other stuff to clear coat. I've got these fancy little L shapes here. I got about 10 of those over on the other side of my shop that need to get sprayed for a fancy house I did a couple years ago. We're doing a little upgrade to the fireplace, a couple shelves for Coulter. So I got some stuff to burn clear on. But yeah, you can see this is gonna be the roof, the ceiling inside. It's kind of got that book match repeat on it, and all three pieces have that. So it's gonna kind of be consistent throughout the ceiling. So I've got all three of them stacked up here. I'm gonna sand them down. These I'll use my random orbital with fine grit, like 220, and just hit them real quick, dust them off with a rag, and then spray them. And then once I do that, I will, come out here and sand this. I'll have to do a lot with a hand sanding sponge. I'll do what I can with the orbital, but ultimately, all the nooks and crannies to get them good, I will need to, hit them with hit them by hand. All right. So after the second coat of lacquer, my mom and dad ended up being over, so they helped me put up the inner skin. And you kind of do that by just starting at the bottom and slowly working the plywood around the bend with the struts and the stringers. And it was a pretty easy process, but it definitely takes more than one person. So having a couple extra hands was really nice. A little bit later in the video, yeah, right here, my sister and brother-in-law showed up, so it was kind of handy to have everybody in there. So it all got done pretty quick, and as soon as we were done, it's basically ready for insulation and wiring. I end up using marine pourable foam, which is significantly more difficult than using like sheet foam, but also a better seal, and it's better, makes the trailer more rigid. That'll be in the next video, so don't forget to stay tuned, like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.